Hello, dear teachers. Today we are going to talk a little bit more about the productive skills. As you know, we have two different productive skills in English, which are, let's look at the pictures. Yes, exactly, writing and speaking. So we have two productive skills, writing and speaking. Let's go over these two skills little by little. For example, speaking. It can be defined as the delivery of language through the mouth. When we speak, many parts of our body work together to create sounds. For example, the lungs, the vocal tract, the vocal cords, the tongue, the teeth, and of course the lips. So all these organs get together and they make us produce speech, or they give us the ability to speak about something. Now, speaking can be divided into two different kinds. Sometimes we're going to use speaking in a more informal way. Usually that happens when we are talking to our friends and family. And we're going to have formal speaking whenever we meet someone for the first time, for example, in academic situations like university, school, for example, and for businesses when we are making businesses. So speaking can be divided into informal and formal. It depends on the context. Then, what are some examples of speaking activities? Can you think of any that you have done in your classes? Mm-hmm, that's correct. So, for example, we have fair discussions, okay? So, where students have a couple of questions that you want them to discuss in pairs or in small groups, and it is to activate prior knowledge, to get them into the mood of the class, to know their opinions about something, different objectives. Another one could be board games. Students love board games, and it is a way that they can speak, they can interact, and in a way that they feel as if they are playing, but they are playing plus practicing the language. Also, picture descriptions, for example, where they have to describe a picture and give some information about it. And finally, we can have, for example, debates where students can present their points of view about a given topic. This can happen in levels from A2 probably to B1, A2, A2 plus, B1, where students have more competencies to express what they want to say. And with your practice, this is of course going to be possible. Then, how to reinforce speaking skills in your classes. Remember, let's think about English as something realistic, something that students can benefit from. So if students see that English has a purpose and it has many benefits for their daily lives, they are going to, of course, start getting interested in the language. Also, encourage your students to keep the conversation flowing. So whenever they are in discussion activities, encourage them to ask more questions to keep going. And remember to provide feedback whenever you have these kind of activities, but avoid overcorrection. So do not overcorrect students. Otherwise, probably they are going to feel a bit frustrated. So think about the exit profile for the level. Think about the can-do statements that you have for the unit or for the class and decide, is it really necessary to correct this mistake, or is this a mistake that students still have at this level but they are going to correct in future levels? So check out the exit profile and the can-do statements for the unit. Then talking about writing, well, as you know, writing is a productive skill that refers to the process of using symbols, letters, punctuation, and spaces to communicate ideas. And we can start developing writing since the pre-A1 level. So don't wait until students are in a more advanced level, if you want to call it that way. Students can start writing from a pre-A1 level, but of course they are going to need guidance. They are going to need help. So how do we help students? From a pre-A1 level, let's start with simple sentences. So do not expect students to write a composition or a paragraph in a pre-A1 level, not yet, but you can start with simple sentences. Then don't forget to introduce some basic punctuation and capitalization rules, periods at the end of sentences, question marks at the end of questions, etc. Um, Remember to use visual aids if possible, or any other resources that can help them get inspired when they are writing. And whenever students need your help, be ready to be there and to provide help with spelling or vocabulary. And very important, don't forget to provide a model of the task. So have a sample activity where students can see how it works, okay? How to create something from ideas as a composition, as a short paragraph, or some simple sentences. So try to provide an example that students can follow. And what are the stages for a speaking or writing classroom activity? They are the same that we have studied with receptive skills, that are pre, during, and post. So remember that we should have an activity as an introduction, then the real activity in the center, and finally you can close up the activity with something productive, something more interactive. So basically we're going to keep the same stages: pre, during, and post for all the macro skills. For example, you can have this kind of activity as an introduction. Students can discuss these questions, for example, about their daily routine. Then they can watch a video from YouTube, for example, and you can ask them some comprehension questions. This video is about a day in the life of a teenager, so you can take a look at some of the activities he does, and then just to introduce the topic or try to put it in context. Then, as a during speaking activity, students can get in groups and they can get a board game and they can start rolling the dice. And this one, for example, has a combination of telling the time and also about describing an activity as part of the daily routine. And finally, to just do a post-speaking activity, students can get in group again as a whole class and encourage them to share anything interesting that they discover about a friend, something that probably they didn't know before, and now after interacting, they are familiar with. So we're going to keep the same stages for productive skills activities. Don't forget that they should have a pre-stage, a during stage, and a post stage. So thank you so much for watching.